in Fort Worth, Texas. As a young boy, I would be flipping through the Illustrated History of Magic, the Milburn Christopher book, and just completely enthralled with the stories of those magicians and the images of their posters and lithographs. And then going through the catalogs of magic that I'd pick up from the magic store, wondering what those colorful, crazy stencil props did, what those boxes did. And that's what I collect. I collect the things that I love. I'm lucky to be in Fort Worth where there's some other collectors, like Arthur Moses has one of the greatest Houdini collections here in town, and Derek Kennedy again has one of the greatest magic apparatus collections of all. My collection is certainly not as near or as significant as theirs or many of the other collectors in the country, but I collect the things that I like. I like the look of certain props, and I collect some artifacts from figures of magic history that tell a story, and I like to connect those dots between the stories. So I'm constantly learning something new every day, which leads me to a new highly sought after piece of magic or a program or something that continues to trace that tale. Things that I like most in my collection are the ones that tell a story, either a story about the performer that used to perform the trick, or a crazy story in itself. As you know, on the wall over there, I've got a piece of a program from Harry Keller, as well as a Herman program, but they happened on a specific date where William Robinson came into the picture and realized he was the most famous magician of all. We all know where that story ended up, but they're all together on that wall. I love telling that story. I also am proud of the P&L Rosebush that I have that was a fellow magician here in Fort Worth. He got that new, I believe, back in the day, and had it in his act for years, Mr. Larry Heil, who also was another president of the Fort Worth Magicians Club. Also behind me right there's a Riley talking skull, and that actually belonged to Wilbur Cotner, who was another Fort Worth magician, another president of the Fort Worth Magicians Club back in the day, but he's kind of famous in the world of magic. You'll find him in many periodicals and books that he wrote about card tricks and things. So it's not just the props themselves, but it might be the people who owned them before that I think that's the story I like to tell with my collection. And those are some of my favorite pieces. My collection isn't focused on any one thing in particular, just the things that I really love. I've got a large collection of magic sets that even includes the one that I got when I was 6 years old that started this entire mess. I love the things like the Grant props that have the brightly colored stencils that look like magic props. I like things like that. And then you've got to have a good working magic library if you're going to research all of these things and the people that perform them. And I consider my library a working library, not one that is locked away and don't touch that book. I like to read them. I think that's important too. So there's a few stage props as well as some close-up pieces, and I even collect simple things like Svengali decks. I've got over 100 different versions of the Svengali decks throughout the years, including magic tokens. I've also got a magic token collection. It's kind of all over the map, but it's something I love. I'm never gonna quit.